welcome to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today is British celebrities you've never heard of in the US.
Yeah.
And there's a few of them. You might think, oh, yeah, I know, people who watch PBS and stuff,
Yeah.
think, oh, well, I know these people, and they don't come on TV, they're not on TV shows over here, they're not big movie stars. But, no. There's a lot of them you probably won't know.
We kind of had to stop making the list because there were so many.
Yeah, no, I put down a few and I thought, oh, there's not too many here, but then we started thinking of them, like, no, they're not known over here. Nope, him, no, her, no.
But we discussed this, you guys, because, oftentimes we like to do...
We had a discussion,
we
didn't we?
Well, we like to do companion episodes to this type of episodes.
Yeah.
So, in theory, we wanted to then do American celebrities that British people have never heard of. Well, we couldn't really think of anyone.
I mean,
and
really...
Googling didn't really
help either.
No.
I mean... I guess there's going to be a few, like, soap actors.
Yeah.
Which is a couple of soap actors on my list, too, so,
I mean, there's a lot of...
It evens it out.
There's a lot of people that come on television over here that British people wouldn't know.
Yeah. But if I said Pat Sajak to a British person, they'd probably be like, who's that?
Yeah. But because there are so many shows over here, I would guess that even a lot of Americans might not know, certain American celebrities in quotation marks, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think you can call them, like, full-on celebrities, whereas I think most of the people on this British celebrities list that we made, most British people will have at least heard of.
They'll have heard of them, and, like, in this article I was, like, looking up, people like, oh yeah, and then you'll pretend never to have heard of them.
Yeah.
Especially the ones who are, like, reality stars and stuff like that, who are splashed across every magazine and whatever,
Yeah. So I think, even on American soap operas, if you mention some of the soap stars' names, which I can't even for the life of me think of any of their real life names. If you mention their real life names, I think a lot of Americans wouldn't know who they were.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. So yeah, it was difficult to think of people in America that are quite famous, but are not famous at all in Britain. I think Pat Sajak, that was actually a pretty good one. Because I would say most Americans probably have heard the name Pat Sajak before,
Yeah, Pat Sajak, yeah, and
what about Barbara Walters?
I mean, you'd have to probably not. I'd say no.
Oh, really?
I'd say no.
So maybe we could have done this episode.
Oprah Winfrey, yes.
You guys,
Oprah Winfrey is known in the UK.
You guys let us know some Americans you think are quite big Americans that most Americans will know, but British people might not know. If you can send us
Joy Behar.
If you guys can send, I think a lot of Americans probably know who Joy Behar is.
Joy Behar, and who else?
She makes a big enough fuss, on the View that I think a lot of people probably.
That Joy Behar. I don't agree with that Joy Behar at all.
But anyway, if we get enough, like, replies from you guys, American celebrities, maybe we will do a companion episode to this, because now we're thinking of some people that
Mr. Rogers.
British people wouldn't have known who Mr. Rogers was?
No,
we're doing the episode now.
We're doing the episode now. And this is supposed to be British celebrities that Americans have never heard of.
Okay, so let's get to that then.
Yeah, and we're starting off with a staple of British TV for the last 35 years, and it is Philip Schofield.
35 years? Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't look that old.
He doesn't look that old, and he looked even younger when he was dyeing his hair, because he's always had that grey hair. He's had that condition.
Oh, yeah.
Where his
like
hair
Anderson Cooper.
Kind of like Anderson Cooper, but he used to dye his hair, and of course he was younger.
Anderson Cooper, that might be a celebrity.
Maybe Anderson Cooper might be a celebrity. Anderson, are you known in the UK?
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, he was a presenter when I was a baby.
How old is he? He must be in his 50s now?
I'd say he's in his 50s.
God, he looks great.
Yeah.
Okay, say who he is then.
He's a presenter. He used to present this kid show with, was it Gordon the Gopher? Was it? Yeah, it must have been Gordon. Maybe Gordon the Gopher. Called Going Live. It was like this Saturday morning kid show that he presented.
He's quite a cute little bubbly guy.
He's a bubbly guy, yeah, and he was bubbly on, and he has this kind of, when I hear his voice, you know who it is. Because he's got one of these voices, and he's like, is that Philip Schofield? And
now he does a show kind of like the Today Show in America, right?
Yeah, it's called This Morning.
Yeah.
And he's been on that for a few years now. Him and Holly Willoughby, who's the next one.
Yeah.
And everybody knows who Holly Willoughby is because she was like this sex symbol in Britain for a while, as presenter and stuff like that.
She was a sex symbol, really. I mean, I think she's pretty.
This is it with, it's mostly women, I mean, it's mostly women who are known in the UK.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't know over here, that they're known because they're splashed across the tabloids.
Yeah.
Because, they're sexy or whatever, to the working man, like, ooh, Ollie Willoughby.
I think she's quite cute and, like, silly, though.
She's been on TV for a few
Sexy
years.
vibes
Sex
from
symbol.
her.
Yeah, I say sex symbol. I mean, she was just like, put up like that,
Yeah. What else?
By the tabloids.
Because she hosts.
She's hosted that, and I think
she hosts This Morning
and she's done other presenting jobs as well.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of all these other people now. Women presenters like Claudia Winkleman. I'm just going to throw her in the mix here. You know who Claudia Winkleman is?
I know the name.
I just know because she's always got the fringe,
Oh.
She's got the fringe. And
she hosts Love Island.
No.
Oh.
No. What was it? She hosted she hosts things. She hosts like Children in Need and stuff like that. And,
oh yeah.
And well,
I feel like I've seen her before.
Yeah, she was on that Celebrity Bake Off, Home Bake Off thing. She was the presenter of that.
Okay.
With Tom Reed Wilson, who might as yet be unknown in the USA, who you love.
Yeah. We're gonna get back to the list.
Philip Schofield, though, he was, and then he This Morning was presented by Richard and Judy. And growing up, they were like the staple presenters of it,
Yeah. And now it's Philip and Holly.
Phil and Holly, yeah. It used to be Phil and Fern Cotton. I think, was it Fern Cotton? Yeah, maybe, but yeah, she's not on there anymore. Carol Vorderman is the next one, and she's known too. You've heard her name.
Yeah, I don't know what she looks like though, but if you guys watch any British like sitcoms, they seem to mention her all the time. Carol
Vorderman.
Vorderman.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was a co-presenter of this show Countdown. And which is still on. It's a game show on Channel 4, and she was presenter of it in the 80s because she's a maths genius.
Okay,
she can do maths
yeah
quite well, so and she used to do the number, because Countdown's like a numbers and letters game. They put up these consonants and vowels, and then you have to make a 9-letter word out of it.
Oh yeah.
And then you do like a maths problem,
like anagrams kind of, right?
Yeah. And then there'll be like the numbers round, which is like a load of like
or anagram, like Scrabble.
yeah a load of like numbers, and you have to get, she hits a button and it comes up with a number, and you have to get that number by using all the numbers.
Oh god, yeah.
So it's like, that was obviously, I mean, I'm not a maths genius, but she would be able to go, I got and I carried the 4, and this maths equation, and someone else would do it, and she would like say how she got to that,
She'd show her work.
She'd show her work on the board, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we've ever watched an episode of Countdown,
yeah,
actually.
I think so, with your dad.
My dad loves it, yeah. So it's just like,
But she, again, was like a sex symbol,
she was a
right?
sex symbol, men tuned in to see her, And she retired just after, I think, Richard Whiteley died. who was the main presenter of it.
So she's not still on the show then?
She's not still on the show. It's Rachel Riley now, who the men tune in to see. So she's not, and they do these panel show 8 out of 10 cats.
Oh, yeah.
With someone else who's on our list, Jimmy Carr, does Countdown.
Yeah.
And, she does, it's like a merging of those two shows.
8 out of 10 cats does Countdown, yeah.
It's become popular for some reason, because it was 8 out of 10 cats was just this comedy panel show.
Yeah.
And then for some reason they decided, since it's on Channel 4, we'll just merge it with Countdown because that's funny.
Yeah.
And then there's Dictionary Corner, Susie Dent. She's always in the Dictionary Corner. It's like these people who know, it's like they've entered the British consciousness and they're there, they're there to, like, any situation you can throw out, like, oh yeah, who are you, Susie Dent?
Yeah. We might as well talk about Jimmy Carr since you mentioned him.
Jimmy Carr, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha, his laugh.
Oh my god,
yes.
It's the most obnoxious.
It's the obnoxious laugh. Ha ha ha.
It sounds so fake.
It sounds fake, but you can hear it over, it's like he presents Big Fat Quiz of Everything.
Yeah, which
Big
is
Fat
really
Quiz
good.
of the Year.
Yeah.
And that's like, panel shows are huge in Britain. That's one thing, like, people who move to Britain from maybe the States or Canada or Australia or whatever, they notice about the UK instantly is like, oh, there's panel shows. Mm-hmm. And that really started when, with Have I Got News for You in, like, the early 90s.
Yeah. And a lot of the people I think on our list are people who either host panel shows or are frequent guests on them. Panel shows, yeah. Jimmy Carr. So does he? He's a
stand-up comedian.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Does he do stand-up then?
Yeah, but
so I guess maybe possibly if we have any listeners that are like super into just
stand-up comedy,
general, maybe they've heard of Jimmy Carr. Then, I mean, I don't know, but I had never heard of him before, we started watching that stuff. If you guys can figure out if you can get a VPN, you can look up the Big Fat Quiz of Everything or the Big Fat Quiz of the Year.
On channel4.com, 4OD, isn't it?
You might be able to find them on YouTube, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, they've probably uploaded them to YouTube, so you can just type it in.
They're very funny shows, though.
Big Fat Quiz of Everything, Big Fat Quiz of the Year, which kind of rounds up everything that happened in the year.
And he also hosts the show you mentioned a second ago, 8 out of 10
8 out of 10 cats, yeah.
Because that's like an everyday show, whereas the Quiz of Everything or whatever, those only come out
certain times of the year, yeah. The next one on my list is Vanessa Feltz.
I don't know this person.
All right, Vanessa Feltz.
Okay.
Do you remember? It was like an insult that Bobby... from Towie.
Yes.
Said to Gemma Collins, because Gemma Collins and Vanessa Feltz look similar.
Okay, yeah.
Vanessa Feltz was a presenter on TV in the 90s. I think she used to do, like, pieces on GMTV. Then they gave her own, like, mid-morning talk show where it was kind of like Oprah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And she had an audience.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, people like that, and I think she was kind of replaced then by Trisha Goddard. Mm-hmm. And I think Trisha Goddard is over here now. I don't know. So she might be doing something over here. Because I seen something about it. I was like, oh yeah, does Trisha still even have a show? Because it's like one of those like topical kind of shows. It's like, today's the government have said this, and what do you think about it? And the audience,
like current events,
kind of, yeah. But yeah, she's kind of known, and it's like when these people go out of like doing what they're doing, they kind of end up like as tabloid fodder, as we like to say.
Oh yeah.
Their names keep getting brought back up because of their personal lives. So Vanessa Feltz was spotted in the gym.
That's a big story.
Vanessa Feltz and her life with her new partner. That kind of stuff. It's like they get mentioned in these magazines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Next person is another. It's kind of like the UK's answer to Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
But she was famous before Kim Kardashian was, actually.
Yeah.
Katie Price. Now, she got her start as a glamour model page 3.
This is another topic.
We've talked about page 3. We
I
have
don't
talked
know.
about it.
I don't think we have. And
The
it
page 3
definitely
girls.
is something we need to talk about in a podcast because it's just...
The tabloids used to have page 3.
Yeah.
I don't think they have it anymore. I'm not sure they might do. Like, well, Daily Mirror stopped doing it, but the Sun and the Daily Star and all these, the red tops, they still kept it on. Basically, women with their boobs out. Complete, full frontal. Because I remember I showed you once, didn't I? Because I knew it would shock you.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is a newspaper? Like,
I was like,
what?
oh, do you see that tabloid over there? Just open it on the first page. Just open
Yeah.
it on the first page. I was like, what? And you were like, what are you talking about? It's that one, the Sun. Go and open it. You know, you open it. You just like, it was like it was in the middle of a store, you know, like people around there. And you were just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Because the thing is you guys buy tabloids more often in Britain than we do in America.
Yeah,
like,
they're a bigger thing than,
Yeah, I don't know anybody who actually purchases a tabloid.
Yeah.
We call them tabloid magazines, I think. But, you know, I don't know anybody who purchases them. And you guys purchase them, like, in the way that you purchase a newspaper.
A newspaper, yeah.
So and they don't look quite as outlandish. The covers and the stories on the covers don't look quite as outrageous as they do.
No, it'll
over
just
here.
be like, you know, like the
It's
headline.
a bit gossipy, but
it's
it's
gossipy,
not like...
but it'll be like a high-catching headline, you know. Phil's done it again,
So
you
they
know,
look
and
more,
or whatever, you
so
know.
they look more like newspapers
Yeah.
than our tabloids do. So
Yes.
yeah, when you open it and there's like a topless girl in the
Absolutely topless.
what looks to be a newspaper, you're just like, what is going on in this country?
What is going on in this country?
It's like, what is...
This country, I don't know.
It's like, what is happening here? I do not understand.
And it is like, you know, that's how she got her start, Katie Price. She was known as Jordan. And she was a frequent page 3 girl.
Why is Jordan, though?
Because that was her name, you know, because of course, you know, like men would obsess and stalk her and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And that was her
In the
stage
way, like,
name.
Okay, like a stripper.
Like stripper name, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then, you know, she just became like, you know, tabloid fodder herself because she was doing stuff, you know, like the fame and stuff, you know, she was going out to clubs and she was like, you know, getting surgeries and she was going out. She married Peter Andre. Again, someone you probably don't even know. He was he was an Aussie singer and she was on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. She was one of the celebrities on that. She's now on a panelist on Loose Women.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, because I said, is that Katie Price? Because she went back to using her actual name.
Yeah.
After a while, she was like, "Don't call me Jordan
she's a
anymore."
grown up now.
Yeah, don't call me Jordan anymore. I'm Katie Price, and she's got a son who's got
He's autistic.
Yes, he's autistic. He's Harvey. She had him with some footballer.
And she's done a documentary about
raising him. Yeah, Harvey, his name is. And
apparently, it was very good. I saw nothing but
no.
praise
I mean, she's growing up, as they say. You know, her outlandish ways have gone now. You know.
Yeah.
And she's on Loose, which is a panelist, or she was a panelist on Loose Women in recent years.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that, and then we go down. Again,
speaking of reality stars.
Charlotte Dawson.
Yeah.
Who's appeared on stuff like MTV's X on the Beach and stuff like that. And
I think you have to classify
Celebs Go
her.
Dating. And
I think you have to classify her as a reality star.
She's a reality star, but she's known because of who her dad is. Or was. Les Dawson.
Another person we don't know in America.
Yeah, no, he was a comedian in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Quite a big comedian.
Yeah, he was quite, you know, I think he did the Royal Variety Performance several times.
I could be wrong, too. You guys correct me, of course,
if
you've heard of Les Dawson in America. I just never have.
I don't think so. Les Dawson was a northern comedian, you know. It's like, yeah, I mean, British comedy and American comedy, that's one place you can't get.
Stand up.
It just does not translate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was the frequent purveyor of mother-in-law jokes and stuff like that, working men's type stuff,
Yeah.
And he died.
Working men, that's hilarious.
Working
that
men's
was
clubs,
his style, because she's very like
She's
working man's kind of humor.
Yes.
She too.
Yes. I mean, yeah. Chuffin egg. So she's a reality TV star now, because Les died when she was a baby. She was, I think, had just been born.
Yeah.
And he died in the early 90s. So he wasn't around. She's only got his legacy to look back on. You know.
So she's trading off his name, basically.
Kind of trading off his name,
but she does have a personality.
But it's not.
For
but
it.
it's not in a way of like, do you know who my dad is? And
no,
and it's not like she's completely different to him. It's like like on these we've watched her on these things, and she does like a face or something. And people go, "Oh, you looked exactly like your dad just then,"
Yeah.
And he's been gone nearly 30 years now,
Yeah.
She's
quite funny herself.
She's quite funny herself, yeah.
Yeah.
Charlotte Crosby's another one. Now she completely made it on the Geordie Shore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is literally MTV in Britain's remake of the Jersey Shore that we had in America. Yeah, they did the Geordie Shore.
And that's why you'll see many of these reality TV. That's probably become the caricature of a reality TV star. They're either from Essex or they're from Newcastle.
You were going to say Geordieland.
Geordieland, yeah. Geordieland.
Yeah.
Why, I man. Cheryl Cole and all that. Cheryl Cole, she was over here, wasn't she, for like a season?
Yeah.
Nobody can understand her, though.
Nobody
she's
can
why, I man.
her, so she got fired.
Amanda Holden. She was an actress or a presenter, but I think, she became a presenter then later on. She was most famous for being married to Les Dennis, who presented who was another comedian. I think he did stand-up, but he's probably more famous to my generation for presenting Family Fortunes, which is Family Feud in the UK.
Okay, yeah.
So, everyone knows it. And I think he was on Coronation Street for a while, too, actually.
Amanda Holden is another person that I feel like I've heard referenced in multiple British sitcoms.
Yeah, they reference her because...
Was she, again, a sex symbol, I'm assuming?
Kind of. She was tabloid fodder.
Okay.
Because her and... while she was married to Les Dennis... Mm-hmm. Her and Neil Morrissey had an affair.
Okay.
And
Neil Morrissey's somebody else who we don't know in America.
Yeah. He was in Men Behaving Badly, the original UK version.
Yeah. Not
the Rob Schneider one or whatever it was. So yeah, there was, that when that came out, it was like, oh, poor Les, and she's terrible, but she got a career out of it,
Yeah.
And that was like 20 odd years ago now. The next one, William Roach. You know who that is?
I have heard the name before, but William Roach. I can't. I don't remember.
The world's longest serving soap actor.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else would know. William Roach, if you said it to anyone on the street in the UK, they may not know who that is.
Oh,
but
really?
As soon as you say his character's name, they'll know. Ken Barlow.
Oh,
he played Ken
okay.
Barlow.
I know.
Ken Barlow on Coronation Street, and he's been in Coronation Street since 1960.
Oh, wow.
And he's still going.
How old is he then?
He's got to be nearly 80 now.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. 81, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. The next one is someone who's been on our screens for a little less time. Joey Essex. Joey Essex, everybody.
We did a podcast where we talked about him, so we won't bore you.
The Only Way is Essex, yeah. Gino DeCampo.
Yeah. I mean...
he did a show with Gordon Ramsay.
Did it come on over here?
I don't know if it came on over here. I don't know.
Where they basically traveled around...
people know Gordon Ramsay over here.
Yes, yeah.
They surely should now. But Fred Sirius?
No, we won't know him. I know him. But...
Yeah. Fred and Gino. Gordon, Fred, and Gino went on these road trips together, and they would just shoved together.
They toured around.
They toured around the U.S.
Mhm.
and they did like
Mexico.
and Mexico.
They did a was it just one episode that they went through Texas, or was it a whole series?
I think it was one episode.
Yeah.
They went through Texas, yeah. So, just like buddies on a road trip.
Mm-hmm. Trying out foods and just being ridiculous. But Gino DiCampo is a chef, right?
He's a chef, yeah.
Yeah, TV chef.
He's a TV chef, yeah. Fred is like, he's a presenter of First Dates.
He makes frequent appearances on this morning with Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby, isn't it?
What, Gino?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. He's like Sunday brunch as well.
So like in the way that on the Today Show they have cooking segments.
Gino will be
Right.
usually at the helm of those. Got Gino DiCampo in here, yeah.
Yeah.
Gino DiCampo!
And he's got his naked butt out a lot of the time.
Yes, he's a crazy Italian man, and Fred is a crazy French man. So, yes.
Fred is the maitre d'
Of the First Dates restaurant.
Yes, First Dates is a dating show.
Channel 4.
Yeah, it's a fun dating show if you guys like it. I think if you guys like it. If you guys like dating shows in general, it's a fun one, yeah.
It's a fun one, yes.
And you can really call him the host, but
He's
he's not
First
the host
Dates
of the
Fred.
show.
Yeah, he's not the host of the show now.
Yeah. Speaking of hosts,
Ant and Dec. Yeah, Ant and Dec, they may be known over here somewhat.
I don't think they're known,
but they're very popular in the UK because of like hosting things like Britain's Got Talent, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yeah.
Another couple of Geordies. There you go. They're taking over.
You know which Americans are going to know and have heard of Ant and Dec?
Who?
Americans that have seen Love Actually.
Americans that have seen Love Actually will know Ant and Dec because they presented that little bit with what was his name? What was Bill Nye's character's name?
Oh, I can't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, he was.
He goes on to promote his Christmas single.
And they've got like Blue.
Yeah,
Blue in the background. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a boy band.
That's Ant and Dec. Yeah,
those two are Ant and Dec. They've been
Hosts are big in Britain.
Host. Yeah. They're a personality. You've got to be a good host.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to get into the
They're a big deal in Britain. Hosts. It's just like if you know how to be a host, then you can
the
be
hosts
set
of
for
the
TV
show
for life.
Yeah. They used to be like a rap duo.
Oh, what?
Very late 80s, early
God.
90s. PJ and Duncan, they went up and they released like a couple of singles, which kind of did nothing. And then they were on this teen drama show called Biker Grove.
Is that like James Corden was in a boy band?
Yeah, kind of, but they had a little bit more success than him, I think. And then they were on this teen drama show, school drama show called Biker Grove, which was set in the Northeast.
Yeah.
And then they became these. I don't know when they had like their big break as Ant and Dec, but they seem to me like they've been around for years, and they have,
Yeah.
Next one is another stand-up comedian, Frankie Boyle. He's a Scots comedian. He's very controversial. He says things that offend pretty much everyone. I think he's been cancelled several times, but people still seem to like him, you know?
Yeah.
He keeps coming back, or he's still around.
I'm going to go back to Ant and Dec one really quick, because they came out, 20 years ago, hosting, what was it, Pop Idol, or...
No, I don't know if they were on that. I think
they were hosting that because, and the reason I know is because they tried to replicate that with the hosts of American Idol over here when it was Ryan Seacrest and Brian Dunkelman, the first season of American Idol. Yeah, they had the two of them because they had Ant and Dec, and it was so successful in Britain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's just a little reference for anybody who can remember the very first season of American Idol.
They do Saturday Night Takeaway, which they try to replicate over here with, what is his name?
Oh,
Doogie Howser.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris, yeah. I couldn't remember his name, but I remember, I was like, what is his character's name? They'll come to me. Neil Patrick Harris. And it was just Neil Patrick Harris, and they didn't redo it. The best time ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously he saw that and was like, oh yeah, we can replicate it, but some things just don't replicate over here. Like
work.
Only Fools and Horses just doesn't work over here. Jimmy Carr.
Oh, there we go. David Jason. Americans aren't going to know who he is. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't know.
No.
If you'd never met me,
Nope.
you'd probably like, oh, I don't know who that is.
Oh my God. What about I'm sorry, you guys, but I'm getting excited here. What about I don't believe it.
Yeah, Richard Wilson.
We don't know. Yeah, Richard Wilson. We don't know him either.
Yeah. Some of these classic British icons.
You guys, you don't know what
will
you're
never
missing.
know. And you would have never known either if I hadn't opened the door to the.
I don't
believe it. He's 1 foot in the grave, yeah. So these are just last minute additions now.
Yes, we're really out of time. We need
like
to
Nicholas Lyndhurst.
Nicholas Lyndhurst.
Another star is not known, very nationally famous.
I think David Jason's a really big one, though. I mean, everyone in Britain knows Del Boy.
Yeah, they should anyway.
Yeah. So that was definitely one that should have been on the list.
It's a bit of a Del Boy, isn't he?
From the beginning.
Oh, you plonker.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, we mentioned him.
We mentioned him. Jonathan Ross. He's been around since the late 80s, presenting various things.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have to zip through these.
We're over time.
These are some big ones, though, too.
David Mitchell, Peep Show, him and Robert Webb were comedy duos,
Maybe have seen
I mean, people
Peep
know
Show.
who, like comedy duos in Britain are very big, like Mitchell and Webb. Oh God, several of them. Fry and Laurie. I mean, people know who Stephen Fry is over here, I think.
I don't know.
They know Hugh Laurie, yeah.
Hugh Laurie, definitely. Stephen Fry, not necessarily. But David Mitchell, because we're not thinking about the
people
fact
don't know
that...
who Rowan Atkinson is over here.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
They know Mr. Bean.
They know Mr. Bean. They think that's his name.
Maybe.
And if that's actually Rowan Atkinson, it's like, why is he called Rowan Atkinson? Why does he call himself Rowan Atkinson? Is that a new character?
But they might know Peep Show because, we're not thinking about the fact that a lot of these British shows are coming on Netflix
David Mitchell.
And Amazon Prime now. You can get some of the older, British sitcoms.
Yeah.
So,
BritBox.
Some people may know David Mitchell and possibly Richard Ayoade. I think the IT crowd is quite popular, actually.
Ian Hislop and Paul Merton?
No.
They were like the original team captains of of Have I Got News for You, the original panel show, and they still are. And yeah, they're mainstays in Britain.
Ian Hislop is the editor?
Editor of The Private Eye, which is a satirical magazine.
Yeah, sort of like The Onion, only even more so.
And Paul Merton's just a stand-up comedian, he was, and he had his own show for a while, and he's acted in stuff.
Yeah. You guys look up Have I Got News for You. They do topical news stories, but they just make fun of everything, basically, that happened during the week.
Yeah.
It's a great show if you like that kind of thing.
Richard Ayoade and Noel Fielding.
Yeah, IT crowd. Yeah. Particularly, yeah.
I should know them, yeah. But Richard Ayoade, him and Noel Fielding, they should have formed a comedy duo. And done a sketch show.
Mm-hmm. Richard Ayoade also does Gadget Man and Travel Man. I don't know if you guys maybe have seen those shows on some of the other streaming sites. I don't know that they would know Noel Fielding from anything.
He does Bake Off now.
Crowd. Oh, he hosts Bake Off. Yeah, he hosts
Bake Off now, yeah.
I think that comes on PBS, so...
Yeah, so you might know him.
Mm.
So, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. And we're just about out of time, so...
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Last
minute additions were being made. But yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning in. We appreciate your support.
Yes.
Be sure to check us out on social media. We are at TButty, TEABUTTY on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we'll talk to you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.